Formulae, the day that Jumbo went 1-2-3. They shut the door on almost everybody for the overall lead at the Vuelta a España. And with that, did they slam the door on the toes of Remco and maybe João Almeida? Today's a redemption day. We're going to do stage 14, Sauveterre-de-Bearn to Larra-Belagua. Hang on, folks. We've got an actual Vuelta intro.
Even Chris Froome had no response to Alberto Contador today. For the last couple of years, he's looked a shadow of himself, but Contador has shone on this Vuelta, and finally he takes the stage victory.
It's about how much time Richard Carapaz can take. What is the gap going to be? He crosses it at 2:34. So Primož Roglic now has got 45 seconds to get there. Primož Roglic saves La Vuelta by around 19-20 seconds.
21%, it really is a hurt zone this. Nibali hits it once again. Now can he? Don't forget, he's just got to find 3 seconds here. 4 if he can. Away and Nibali goes once more in the cloud. Oh, it's almost reminiscent of his job on the Giro d'Italia. Out almost the camera, and has Nibali been taken out here as well?
No,
I don't think there was any contact with anybody. It's just gone pop. Here is Horner. What a performance by this man. As we say, 20 years separating the man who's won the stage and the man who quite possibly has just won the Vuelta. 200 metres. This is going to feel like party time. And the grimace turns into a huge grin. And the clock, watch it when he crosses the line, because this is the crucial timings. He gets the bonus as well, don't forget. There is Chris Horner. Has he just done it for the old guard?
Welcome, everybody. Between Two Wheels podcast. This is Tyler. Like I said, we're doing Tyler Yonke. We're doing stage 14 of the Vuelta a España. Yesterday, pretty fantastic for those SEP fans. And then how's Jumbo gonna play this out from here on out? Well, we're going to talk about it a little bit today. And then today, look, I was going to get a clip here. I got some other ones, but I was going to get a clip here, too, of the cycling podcast. They had Hatch. I don't know, whatever. He's an announcer for GCN. And they're talking about, and with Daniel Friba, and they're like, hey, I can't come to has anybody ever had a comeback like this? And I'm like, hello, Landis, 2006. Stage 17, Floyd Landis, and they were like, "Oh, we can't say the L word." I mean, okay, if Floyd Landis is, yes, he tested positive after that one, but why can't you also say this one? Am I jumping the gun? Perhaps. Let's go right up into the here. Here's a breakdown for the stage. What do we have? 156.2 kilometers, an Especial, that's the HC category, another Especial, and then a Cat 3, and then a Cat 1 finish to Belagua. Right away, like I said, 150 some kilometers, and right away, already at 155, you got Remco Evenepoel trying to get in the break. Now remember, he said he was crying yesterday or last night. He didn't sleep well. It was the interviews afterwards, and he just was tormented. I mean, he did a lot of prep, but then he says, "Look, my prep that I had done." With going, remember I mentioned this yesterday. The Vuelta is usually before World Championships. It was Worlds was before it this year. He came out on top on the World Championships for the time trial. He was up there with the road race, and it didn't work out. So his fitness was probably maybe a little too peaked for this, and as far as the Vuelta goes. That's just kind of the way it goes. With that in mind, he's up the road. He tries to get up the road today, and he breaks it. Finally, he has some. Oliver Nelson goes up there with him. Finally, there's a break that forms. I mean, he's working this thing over. And finally, he gets up the road with Romain Bardet and a few others. And then he and Romain Bardet break clear. Well, there was a Lotto guy in there. Now, I had already said, I think Storer was in the King of the Mountain jersey or close to it yesterday. Vindigo ended up got it. You're going to see probably him going up the road, and he did. But he was having a little bit more trouble because Remco was on one today. Now, the odd parts you had, though, was back. What goes on in the behind? So are riders going to be fighting for I mean, there's no one up the road that's in contention. So Remco, 27 minutes out or more, 28, I think is what it actually was. He's not really a threat. Now, is he a threat to even 5th, 6th? Not yet. So who's going to, you should probably be having Jumbo take the reins here. But instead, UAE. UAE takes the reins. And, there's talk about Sepp Kuss not really being able to have done. He's his 3rd Grand Tour. He's going to have a bad day. So maybe this is their plans. So what happens is, though, then they put guys in the front. They start causing trouble with their with their own guys. Remco ends up getting all the points today for the King of the Mountain jersey. So Storr's not going to get it, and Evenepoel is going to actually move into the lead. This is after the 1st or 2nd category HC climb. He and Romain Bardet sharing water, going up the road, looking good. But the whole time you can just tell that Evenepoel looked much better than Romain Bardet. Roman was moving around. That's his cycling style as well. Michael Storr was still, once again, trying to get into the mix. 52 kilometers to go. UAE had been on the front, and they were dropping Almeida and what's the other guy out there? I'm having a senior moment. I'm on some muscle relaxants. Maybe that's the problem. Anyway, so they're dropping their own UAE guys. And and it doesn't. I'm not sure even what the point was for, right? Who is he here? Soler. That's who we got. Soler is getting dropped as well. Then Ayuso attacks. Immediately Sepp Kuss is on his wheel. So is Roglic. So is Vinigo. They're all just coming there. And then Ayuso is not going to keep up the attack. So he kind of looks around. He kind of takes off again. And this next time when he takes off, immediately jumping on his wheel is Roglic and Vinigo. And Sepp Kuss kind of looks around, lets Enric Mas come through, jumps on his wheel, and they immediately get back up. Now, I'm going to play a clip later where, this is the way the press are. They think this was you can see here, right here. Here's Enric Mas. He's pulling up and easily comes up to Vinigo and Roglic, and Sepp Kuss has no problems getting on his wheel, and the whole time he was kind of boxed in. He just jumped on that wheel, but we'll talk about that. Evenepoel gets the leads here. Then they have a long valley that they go through, and then finally up the last climb, Evenepoel just leaves Romain Bardet, doesn't even attack him, just rides him off, and gets a nice post-up victory for the win. 5-6 minutes up the road. So then the rest of the GC comes in. Romain Bardet, a nice little hug there with him. The rest of the GC comes in. Vlasov sprinting. Sepp Kuss right on his wheel, looking very attentive and aware, and comes in across the line. But there you go. There's the post up for Remco Evenepoel. Gets a stage win. Michael Storr. This is the King of the Mountains. Let's see if they have the overall classification here. Nope. King of the Mountains. Storr's in second at 39 points. 63 points though for Evenepoel today. I mean, he just racked them all up. That's crazy stuff. There he is. He's in polka dot. It's not a good looking polka dot jersey that they have. But the UAE the Vinigo, Roglic, Sepp Kuss, Team Jumbo came across the line, and Remco gave Sepp a nice big slap on the chest there on the side. And there he is. He's in the lead by 137 over Roglic, 144 over Vinigo. Ayuso 237 down he's got the white jersey. Then Enric Mas at 306, 310 for Soler, Land at 412. I think, and by the way, Bahrain was doing some fighting as well, so or some riding on the front. And I didn't really understand what the whole thing. Yes, Victor's in the house. He says Sepp Kuss. That's right. We're pulling for Sepp. Definitely does. But it'll be, once again, going to be Sepp, so there he is in the lead. Tomorrow's race, Pamplona to Lucanberry. And you've got some climbs in there, but I think it's going, there it is. One categorized climb, a little bumped up at the finish. It might be too much for the sprinters, Kid and Groves and whatnot to really be in there, but it should be a breakaway. I mean, I would imagine, you're going to have a rest day, and then next week is going to be some, heavy duty stuff. So there you go. On the stage, Sepp Kuss coming in at 8th place. Let's see how all the Americans did here today. Sepp obviously in the top there, 822 down on Remco. So he does a few more of those. He's back in the mix, right? Larry Warbass, 30 minutes. Joe Dombrowski and Sean Quinn all coming in at the same time there. Oops, we don't want that. They'll kill us for that one. So as far as the GC goes, you're going to have Remco moving up here Where do we go here? Goes up a bunch of places. Hugh Carthy goes down 5. He had a little bit. He had a rough day today. He was not hanging on. Evenepoel moved up, like we said, 4 places. Steph Kraus moved down a spot. He lost a few minutes there. De La Cruz went up there as a result. João Almeida was able to hang on. Stays in the top 10. Cian Uchebroek, 9th place still. He was swinging a little bit today. Lando looked better than Soler. Soler came off a few times that he was able to reconnect when his own team was kind of putting the hurt down. And there you have it. So as far as the KOMs go, there we go. Evenepoel, 63 points. He just mashed them all today. That's very impressive. Points jersey doesn't change. Caden Groves. Evenepoel does move into 2nd place. That with 116. He said he had no interest in that one. He's down on the youth jersey, but the team jerseys looks like it's firmly in the hands of Jumbo Visma. Okay, so we'll talk about a few things. I'm going to play some clips here from it's from Cycling Podcast. This first one is who's going to win, and they talk to Rob Hatch and a few others here. So let's take a look. I need to add this one to it. Okay, let's play it away.
The juicy issue of who is going to win, who is going to be the last man standing here.
Today we saw a slight sign of weakness from Sepp Kuss, because in one of the attacks by Juan Ayuso, he struggled a bit to follow. There were Roglic and Vingegaard immediately on his wheel, and then Sepp dropped a couple of positions back. It wouldn't be strange, because he has a story, and that is something that was pointed out by Remco Evenepoel on his rest day press conference. He has a story of maybe struggling in one mountain stage of the third week. Maybe that happens again, but now he's not working for others, he's benefiting from others' work. And that should help him go through this final week of the Vuelta. And Jumbo-Visma, they want to make history, and by winning all 3 Grand Tours in one season, they are making history already. And if they manage to do it with 3 different riders, that's some completely different level that is unseen. If I were the Jumbo-Visma management, I would definitely go with Sepp Kuss.
Okay, I'm not going to go. I enjoyed the program, but I'll just say I didn't think his analysis was very good there at all. We walked through that a bit, and if you actually watch, hang on, I'm going to bring the next one up here. Hang on there. If you actually watch the film, because I broke that down again to myself, I went and rewatched it. It was not even having a bad day or in a bad spot was what Soler and Almeida were doing. Sepp Kuss was not in a bad spot there. You can see him. You said gone. He was the first one on the wheel. It wasn't a problem. Then they're going super slow, and he jumps again. And like I said, Roglic and Vingegaard jump on the wheel. There's a little boxed in here. He looks over. He immediately lets Enric Mas come through, and immediately he's on Enric Mas's wheel, and boom, they're out there. This makes me feel more confident about Sepp Kuss than anything. When the press sees that, and that's their crack in the armor. If that's the crack in the armor, okay, looks like we're gonna be having a Sepp Kuss win if that's the case. It was not the fact. And let me talk a little bit about Remco too. So yesterday he has his bad day, and with that, everyone's like, oh, he's either sick, or he's saying, no, I'm not sick, I lost fitness. And then we saw today where he just demolishes everybody, and he rides. Something's weird there. I mean, it's got to be, I don't know, sickness. I was watching Horner. He was saying sickness, maybe some meds that he took for something like that. It is odd to see you go so bad and then so good. And like I said, the only other person I've seen do that is 2006 Floyd Landis Stage 17, where he blew out the day before, got dropped. Rasmussen wins. He loses like 10 minutes. He'd been up on the lead. And then the next day he comes out and he blows everyone out for like 7-8 minutes. So went on the attack. Okay, you can do that. But how do you rebound so quickly? Now, that one could be doping. I don't know. I have questions. Mason Marlowe joins in. He said, I've questioned Remco's mental fortitude a bit. Perhaps, but he's really young. So look, I'm not a Remco fan at all. And I actually had something that changed my mind just yesterday. I watched the Lantern Rouge podcast interview with him. Now, not a big fan of the Lantern Rouge because Kurt likes it, and I tend to say anything he likes, I'm not going to be a fan of. I finally watched it, and it was an interview with Remco right after the World Championships and before the Vuelta. I liked him. He was interesting to hear. He talks about how he just says things. He probably should be a little bit more political in a sense of way he just stream of consciousness out to the press. Some of it might be a language barrier, but there were also some things in there I thought were really interesting. According to him, was a 2019 Giro where he's out there with Almeida, his teammate. He's a new guy. He had just come back from, remember the wreck in Lombardia where he had crashed. So then he's kind of put into the lead role, and he's like, I never should have been in the lead role. And then there was a day where Almeida came back for him, and he's like, I told the radio that the managers not to have him come back to me, and he did anyway. I told Zhao go, but Zhao was listening to the team management. And so I remember that at the time. So anyway, it's a little bit, I watched it and I came away going, okay, I think I like him. Why do I not like him? Well, I don't like him for a few reasons, which is one, he rides for Soudal Quickstep. Just not a fan of Lefevre and that gang. Some of the other things that I like is he does come across as somewhat of a dick. The other day complaining about everything's, and I think that some of it might be the fact that you were kind of coddled as a child, as far as in, when you're kind of in those formative years and you're suddenly winning everything. I mean, he started racing as a junior. In the first year, he went to World Championships. He started racing in April. That's crazy. So then obviously he races, a year and a half in juniors, and then goes pro. I mean, this is where he is. So no one's ever told him he can't do something because he just does it, and he's very successful. So yes, his mental stuff he's got to definitely shore that up, and that's going to be a thing. I think the thing that'll help him is you're seeing this with Vinigo, you're seeing this with Sepp Kuss, you're seeing this with Remco. I think Pogacar is similar, which is they're all really young and they got married, and they have these family lives. That's now you're not going out, you're not wasting your time partying or trying to hook up. You're just wasting your time training and being at home. And he talked about last night about being on the phone a lot with his wife. Good for him. She took care of him a lot when he was. When he broke his ass bone as well. So who knows? I mean, these are things that made me kind of like him more. But yes, he does have somewhat of a fragile ego, I think. And who knows? I mean, yesterday, he could have fought like Almeida. Maybe he was in a similar vein, but he decided to just, once it was going bad, he's just going to really sit up and lose a bunch of time. No big deal. And once he does that, then he could come back today and fire hard. But you didn't see Almeida coming back firing hard today. I mean, Almeida was in the group trying to hang on. So it's a weird, what do you buy? What do you not buy on that one? Okay, this is another little clip I'm going to play here. It's Geraint Thomas talking about kind of like I said, who's going to win the Tour or who's their leader or whatnot. I think this is the one. Hang on. Okay, let's put this one up on the screen and go. Okay. Okay, so Mason says can't hear anything. Well, that sucks. So let me dump that one out. I pushed the wrong one. That's why. Okay, let's go back here, and I'm gonna play this here.
This was
There we go.
guy twice in the Tour, 1 and 2, 1 and 3.
Geraint Thomas.
Well, how do you see it? And is it complicated for their directors now?
I guess with the personalities, be interesting to see.
Go on, elaborate.
Well, I think they're all just I'm sure Vingegaard didn't come here just to be on the podium. You know, he would want to win. You know, having won the Tour, I was speaking to him at the start, and he was like, "Yeah, hopefully I'll have something to celebrate." We're talking about holidays and stuff. I was like, "Mate, you won the Tour. You got something to celebrate. Whatever happens." Oh yeah, true. But for sure, he wants to win. You know what Roglic is like. So yeah, that whole dynamic, how they deal with that, really. But those three, it's unbelievable, really, what they're doing. So yeah, fair play.
Can you remember ever talking about that with Sky, monopolising the podium in a Grand Tour? Was that ever even mentioned as an objective? Because you came relatively close a couple of times.
It wasn't, no, but you know, we did it in Catalonia once. But it normally, from our point of view, it was always like based around one or two guys. We never really had three, but yeah, potentially it could have happened if one of them had gone in a break like Kuss had. But yeah, I think it's more dealing, as I said, just with the personalities now and making sure that everyone's sort of happy, which will be hard, obviously. But some position they're in it. I think it's fair play to them.
I'm going to ask you for a prediction now. Who's going to win the Vuelta? You can say yourself, but we presume it's one of the Jumbo-Visma riders. Who do you think might win now?
I think Sepp is in a great position. You know, I think having done what he's done for those two guys, but I know myself, you can ride for someone, you know, for years and they still want to win. So, but heart says Sepp, head might say someone else, maybe Vingegaard.
Okay, interesting to hear that. Sorry about the lack of sound there on the beginner. So I just thought, you know, look, Geraint Thomas coming in there talking about kind of where he's been with that, wanting to win and being in kind of in that position to do so, and you've got your team leader that's like, no. Now I will back this up just a tad bit. If this is the Tour de France, you're probably more likely than not to have that problem, right? Where one of these guys might attack Sepp and just right away and try to get within. But it's the Vuelta. No offense. The Giro's now been won by Roglic. Roglic has won the Vuelta several times. The Tour has been won twice now by Vingegaard. Maybe this is a thing that they're not as concerned about for Sepp as possible. Okay, where do we go tomorrow? Pamplona to Leukemberry, 158.3 kilometers. Like I said, I think this will be a breakaway day. I think it's too much for the sprinters. Could be a mid-section, like a mountain type of day, but I think you're not going to have the climber guys get away when it's not steep enough to begin with. So like today, it was, you know, at least Remco was strong enough to get away, and so he was able to kind of mix it up there. But if it's climbing right away, then you're going to get a climber. So I don't know if a Dombrowski was able to do this. And then once again, we're talking about day off on Monday, and then Tuesday we come boom back to this steep little thing at the finish. Tuesday, and then, you know, Wednesday. Wednesday's the day we're really looking forward to. That's up the Angliru. Fantastic Wednesday, and we're not going to keep going on the rest of those, so that's all we have. All right, so predictions for tomorrow. I think it's going to be a mid breakaway guy. You never know. I just don't see Jumbo's riding strong enough to be able to control everything. We saw stupid kind of stuff with Bahrain today. We saw stupid stuff with UAE today. And then we saw obviously Remco getting his Floyd Landis style win. Congratulations to him. But I think right now it's just, you don't have enough firepower. Like you saw those two little attempts to break away by Ayuso. Those were not much. It's not going to happen. So right now, Remco, I mean, the best thing that happened to him for everybody was that he lost 20 some minutes. So you could let him get up the road for 8 minutes. You're not going to let him get the road for much more than that. And maybe one more time, but not multiple. So, you know, starts happening again. You're going to start putting Jumbo on the back foot, maybe a little bit. And then you're going to see them, you know, actually try to do what they can to make sure that the jersey stays with one of them. Hopefully it'll stay with Remco. Did I say that? Stay with Sepp. All right, everybody. Thank you. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Stage 15 of the Vuelta. Keep it sassy.